Alright, hello and welcome back to Let's Play yet another no-name MAME game. Today's no-name MAME game is, of course, this one. And yeah, sometimes you just have to go out there and wrestle with some of the, worser MAME games. Alright, let's jump right into watching the screen. So, place your bets. Will it be a 3D game or a 2D game? Yeah, 97. Yeah, you're right. It's a 3D game. That's right, Boots. It's a 3D game. Can you say Tres de Ocho game? Anyway, we have a couple different wrestlers, and then we have Long Cat. Okay, that's actually hilarious. How can we pass this up? But that's so disappointing. Like, you saw his character portrait. He took up like 4 of them vertically stacked. I was expecting his head to be like past the ceiling. So A is this stuff. And let's see what B is. Oh man. Now, I'm pretty sure the game itself doesn't actually play in super slow motion. I'm running this on a, admittedly not the best ever game, and it's also a 3D game, and it's also a version of MAME that admittedly is 5 years old. Not that that would necessarily make MAME even faster. But anyway, the point is, the arcade software is not going to be this bad. But otherwise, it is going to be this incoherent. Now, I've never really understood wrestling. I've never really been clear on this. Can you punch the guy or not? Because it seems like in this one, he's just clearly slapping the guy without any sort of rhyme or reason. And you could just, like, foot stomp the guy. And yet, I think there's actually some sort of stigma against actually just punching a guy in wrestling. Oh man, and as you can see, is the computer. That is how you should play this game. Still, check out the crowd. Now, I mean, obviously they're using compression for their guys, and it's a little blurry, but that's actually kind of a pretty sweet crowd. I mean, games of this era, I'm not entirely sure if this would... just let me get some in a hole. Just does nothing. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure if games of this era would have, like, polygonal crowds or not. I think as a general rule they wouldn't. But, that's pretty, well, you get a nice effect from it, because you look around, it's like a 360-degree view of people. And I think, actually, to their credit, it's, like, all unique people. Like, they went and actually did a panorama. And, I mean, the copious use of, like, actual photos really does nicely complement the gameplay, because I'm assuming these are, like, based on real people. And so part of the appeal is just, like, getting out there and actually playing as your favorite wrestler. So if you got 3D pictures well, because, like, the 3D polygons, I mean, you know, I know, we all know, those don't look like real people. You can't look at one of those guys and be like, oh yeah, this is Bubba Longcat. But, you look at all those pictures scattered around, you could probably recognize somebody. Almost. Usually in game over screens, people, like, explode or whatever. Get, like, chainsawed to death. But this guy just kind of lazily gets up. Just knowing, again, that he has another one to get, another match to play. And featuring Virtua. You figure that out. Let's see, does the intro play any faster? No, it does not. Alright, well, let's scrutinize these characters. We got Mr. Mysterious. And pals. Whoa. I don't think he's a real person. Okay, so I'm assuming the Virtua means that they're, like, Virtua fighter characters? But, that is kind of especially jarring, because you look at all the 3D photos and you've got the ones that are, like, obvious as people. Now, that would be pretty cool if the developers went, like, the whole 9 yards and, like, actually found some lookalikes and, like, took photos of them and be like, no, man, they're real people. Trust us. We swear. Whoa, am I totally wigging out, or were the advertisements on the bottom of the match actually changing? I think that was actually me freaking out. So let's see, by pressing up and down, you can very slowly move up and down in the plane of motion. Well, you can move in and out of the relative to the current plane of motion. And otherwise, fights proceeded, massive slowdown. Although, looking at the top thing, like, looking at those lights there, it's, that's pretty cool. Like, they're not just lights stuck on the ceiling or something. It's like it's an actual different surface, and you can, like, kind of tell as you look at it. Like, it moves independently from all the people. And I mean, I talk a lot about parallax effects in shoot 'em ups, but, like, you look at 3D games, and it's so easy to create, like, actual parallax scrolling just because you actually have the 3D things there. That's pretty cool. Otherwise, though, I mean, it's a game I can't understand at all, featuring crazy, wacky characters and, just in a seemingly incoherent playground. That's right, it's a Mahjong game. Otherwise, I think we're just gonna have to, forfeit this as quickly as possible. They have point shaving in Japanese pro wrestling, right? That's right, take a fall. Jeffrey. His name is Jeffrey. That makes about as much sense as anything else, I suppose. Oh, dang. That is how you take someone out. Did you see his, like, health bar just go slamming down to the zeros? And that's a wrap. Oh, I recovered. Much to my... Nope, good, I lost. So, there was a MAME game that sort of barely almost worked. And I'm sure if it did, it probably... I don't know, I have no real basis to compare wrestling games on. Never played any, never fully understood any, so... No idea. I will say, though, the logo looks really nice. Like, getting really clear, crisp graphics on logos, it's not as easy as you'd think, just because it seems like a lot of games can't quite do it. Even the 3D games, they just don't quite do it. Actually, looking at the text is super clear. I guess that's just one of the advantages of moving the 3D polygons. The text on screen becomes very clear. Actually, maybe it's probably just because, like, well, yeah, you can actually have, like, text and stuff that's actually kind of, like, made by vector graphics versus, like, just having to code sprites. And, I mean, sprites, you can have some nice text effects, but at the same time, you're ultimately limited by the medium. I mean, like, just fire up your, like, notepad or terminal or whatever, start typing around and be like, hey, this is not so good. Versus, like, looking at this game, even the insert coins, although they kind of want some implied, shading or buffering or anti-aliasing, it's still pretty sweet. Dang. And I mean, I might like sprites as far as, like, the visual, but, like, looking at that Sega logo and looking at this logo, nice, clean, crisp. Can't fault the 3D games for this. They brought some pretty clear on-screen text. Well, on that note, this cat's got a scat.